Hello and welcome our dear viewers to a new edition of Windows. I am Basma Taha. Indeed, the state has launched many significant presidential health initiatives that aim at improving the life of citizens. Also, the state has established new hospitals and renovated the existing ones in order also to improve the lives of citizens and to improve the health sector. The state has exerted great efforts indeed in the field of health, in the health file. And today we'll be joined by a very dear guest, Dr. Ibrahim. She is a member of Dawi Initiative, but now we are joined over the phone to talk more about this issue. We are joined by Dr. Islam Anan, lecturer of health policy, faculty of pharmacy at Ain Shams University. Dr. Islam, good evening.
Good evening, Ms. Basma. Hope you're doing fine, and my regards to your esteemed guest, Dr. Ayat.
Thank you so much, Dr. Islam. As I said, the state has indeed launched many presidential health initiatives that aim at improving the health of citizens, and I would like, Doctor, to know more from you about the initiatives that were launched by the state in the field of health in order to improve that sector and improve the lives of citizens and also patients.
Okay, so if we start talking about public health and the presidential initiatives for health, it started with a vision in 2018 that for healthcare we would like to change our centricity in Egypt to be more of a person-centric care instead of just a patient-centric care. So when we are talking about a person-centric care, it means that we would like to focus more on preventing diseases from happening. It's not only treating patients, but preventing the disease. And secondly, early detection of diseases, so we are avoiding a lot of complications or avoiding the presentation of this disease in a later stage. Thus, the early stages will actually have better prognosis, better health gain, and even a better economic gain as well. If we are talking about the presidential initiatives, we are talking about 14 different health initiatives. It starts from the neonatal screening. We do have the genetic neonatal screening, and we believe that the health starts from pregnancy. Hence, you got another presidential initiative for mother and fetus. You have the premarital screening as well. You do have the 1,000 golden days, which actually tracks the neonates till 1,000 days of their lives. You will also have for school children the obesity, stunting, and anemia presidential initiative, which actually screens from 8 to 9 million students every year. And then you got the non-communicable, you got the cancer one, you got for the dialysis and kidney diseases, you have as well for the geriatric, and the most important and the latest one is actually the one for psychological health and depression. So if you look at the 14 presidential initiatives, we are talking about a comprehensive journey, tracking the journey of the Egyptian citizen from birth till older age and senior years. And for that, it's very important to say that the vision of Egypt in 2030, which is promoting health, is to have less non-communicable diseases. This will be achieved if we can actually decrease the risk factor. And if we look at something like hepatitis C, which is one of the most successful presidential initiatives, Egypt successfully managed to screen 50 million citizens for hepatitis C. And for that, we are avoiding a lot of future infections. We are avoiding,
and
for
also,
example,
Doctor, I'm sorry for interruption
as well.
Yes, WHO has indeed praised and hailed Egypt for its unprecedented achievements in eliminating hepatitis C, saying that it is the first country to make that achievement.
That's correct. We got the Golden Tier Award from the WHO. Yes. As recognition to our path in eradication of hepatitis C, which it's the first country to do that. The issue about hepatitis C is how we managed to actually invite and screen 50 million citizens. That's why it's a Guinness record screening number to screen that amount of people as well. Yes, especially that it doesn't only got an impact in clinical benefits and health benefits, it's also economically. We managed to have an economic benefit out of the presidential initiative that you can say that every Egyptian pound spent on the hepatitis C screening in Egypt got a return of 3.75 Egyptian pounds as a return to the economy. So we are gaining health and we are gaining as well an economic return.
Well, also, Doctor, indeed, the private sector indeed plays a very great and crucial role in confronting many challenges in the different fields, of course, in the health sector. So, Doctor, I would like to know more from you about the collaboration between the private sector and also the state in making more achievements in the health file.
Perfect. So if we're talking about public-private partnership, or what we are calling PPP,
yes,
it's one of the main sustainability development goals for Egypt and for the region as well. We were never going to be able to sustain and reach our goals. It's either Egypt or any other country in the world if we are working in silos, if we're working in isolated islands. The partnership is very important and crucial. All the stakeholders of health, hence we are calling it One Health, are collaborative in the same vision. Pharmaceutical companies, the main aim is actually having their products, but their main aim is as well as research. If we are talking diagnostic, we are talking, for example, the private sector of the service providing hospitals, the government itself. All the stakeholders involved in health got one common goal, which is having better health. We are all going to benefit, whether there's a commercial side of it, whether there's a research side of it, legal side of it, but making and unifying the goal is the most important thing. We've witnessed the previous couple of years a lot of memorandum of understanding signage. We've witnessed a lot of technology transfer, and this is a very important point from the private sector to the public sector, which is how to actually manufacture large molecules, which is a very advanced medication for cancer. How we would like to make pharmaceutical plants and make it with a top-notch technology. So hence we are actually transferring the technology from Europe and from the States to the Egyptian lands. And finally, in terms of research and education, there's a lot of memorandum of understanding to make sure that we are getting the expertise from abroad, from the developed countries or from the area of expertise, to teach and educate our juniors and our doctors on new technologies and new techniques. And just to recap, the long story short is no country can actually achieve the health vision if they are working alone without the private sector. We need to work
yes,
hand in hand.
The cooperation indeed is very significant, Doctor, as you said. Also, Dr. Islam, as you are a university professor, so I would like, Doctor, to ask you about how do you see the significance of instilling in the younger generation, whether in schools or universities, the significance of adopting a healthy lifestyle, in order, to raise their awareness about the significance of adopting a healthy lifestyle?
That's becoming challenging year after year,
yes,
and we are discussing this every day in our academic days, because we are having a very fast pace. And the technology, although the technology is very useful, but the dependence on the social media, the dependence on AI, for example, is actually got a bad side of it. It's not only a good side, because they got distracted a lot. We can see a lot of ADHD, a lot of lack of focus during lectures, because they all the time would like to return to their dopamine addiction, looking at their phones. The use of AI in research abstracts and the use of AI in completing assignments is giving us as professors a lot of hard time. But it got as well a psychological bad impact on the students. The psychological health, I believe, is one of the top priorities that we need to look at when looking at the health of the youth, talking about young children, young adults. And having said that, we will move to the second pillar, which is the second most important one, which is healthy diet and exercise. We can see and we can witness increase in the percentage of overweight and obesity. If I tell you the figures, it's actually devastating. Currently in Egypt, 50% of females are actually obese. 50%. This is actually a very significant high figure.
yes,
And 39% of males are obese, overweight. So having said these figures, we need to start with the youth. We need to start with school children to educate and inject in the education system itself to teach them how they can lead a healthy life in terms of eating healthy foods, the concept of colors, the concept of movement, the concept of ignoring the sedentary life and adopting a healthier and active life instead.
The quality of food that they must choose.
Exactly, yes. And this is very important for mothers as well.
Yes.
What to select for the children, even from the breastfeeding time till 4 years old. These are very critical 4 years in the start of any person's life. We need to make sure that the mothers, they know how to select the type of food they are eating and what they are actually feeding their infants and their children.
Great. Dr. Islam, also we know that most of the presidential initiatives are mechanized and that there are workshops held for employees at the Ministry of Health in order to train them on digital transformation, AI. How do you see, Doctor, the significance of that in improving the life of citizens and also in meeting the needs of patients?
Okay, so we were just discussing that Egypt managed to screen 50 million in hepatitis C and managed to screen 30 million females in women's health and breast cancer detection. Imagine if we are doing all of this without a digital platform, without digitalization and automation and mechanization. That will be almost impossible. So digital platforms and digitalization is a must. It's a pivotal step if we would like to reach an effective screening and an effective early detection. Whether we are actually making digital for the invitations and for the system itself of the data collection, whether we are using digitalization for the referral between the screened positive cases to the treatment units and the tertiary units, if we are using it for research and for data analytics and having informed decision making, and finally, because you mentioned AI, if we are using AI in terms of diagnostics, because currently in breast cancer initiatives, we are using AI for imaging. The AI now can actually detect the pathology reports and they can detect the imaging and generate reports which is of a high accuracy. Currently, we are reaching more than the accuracy of the human being, plus in less time. If you are waiting for the imaging report for example, MRI or CT for a couple of days, we can generate it in 30 seconds using AI. Thus, the use of digitalization and the training and workshop and having the capacity building of the employees to be able to use the digital platforms is a pivotal step. And currently we do have a lot of reports generated, and we do have the economic reports, the clinical reports. All of these reports were going to be actually impossible if we don't have a big data analysis, and we have Python systems, AI systems that be able to actually process all these tons and big data to be able to process it into useful information. So yes, it's a very important. Egypt is focusing on digitalization big time. We do have a vision, a separate vision for health data governance and for digitalization, that by 2032 we are linking the new system and the old system having a universal coverage, and this universal coverage is utilizing a complete digital platform.
Great. Also, Doctor, as we mentioned and as you said, Doctor, that Egypt has recorded a great success in the file of health, and as we mentioned also that WHO said that Egypt's achievements in eliminating hepatitis C also marks a milestone in the health sector and the health file. So my question is, how could we transfer, or how could Egypt transfer its experience in the file of health to other countries in order to teach them this experience?
Perfect. So if we are talking, this actually initiated already a couple of years ago. So Egypt managed to make another initiative, which is treating 1 million Africans from hepatitis C. The objective is not only treatment. The objective as well is to transfer the knowledge from Egypt to the rest of the African countries on how to establish screening units, how to make the digital platforms, how to make the invitations, and how to even make the negotiations with pharmaceutical companies to make sure that we are getting the best prices for treatment. And having said that, it's worth saying that Egypt, for example, while negotiating the prices of the hepatitis C medications, we managed to get it 1% out of the original price which is sold in Europe and the States. We got it in only 1%, so we got 99% discount on the medication. How are we going to do that? You need to teach and make a knowledge transfer that research worth money. If we are making a lot of research, we'll be able to negotiate prices. Another one is to make sure that we are using diagnostics in the right place. So the technology transfer and the skills transfer, it involves as well how to make sure that the personnel, they are able and capable of measuring and having used the PCRs and the diagnostic tools in the right way. Currently, there are a lot of hubs through the African CDC, which is led by the Ministry of Health here in Egypt, to make sure that we are transferring, as I said, knowledge, transferring skills, and transferring technology transfer as well.
Great. Also, Dr. Islam, as we know that the presidential health initiatives are characterized by sustainability, and they are also free of charge in order to provide the necessary services to citizens. Also, recently, we all see that the state is keen on reaching even the remote areas and also Upper Egypt and villages, and we witnessed also many hospitals were established there in order to provide the necessary services. I would like also to know more from you about the state keenness to establish and to reach patients and citizens in remote areas by providing the necessary services, by building hospitals. How do you see the significance of that?
Yeah, that actually was a very challenging step to reach the rural areas and border cities.
Yes.
And, for example, places where it's very difficult to commute for citizens to reach health units. That was actually very challenging, especially that we are talking about the country with 115 million citizens. We are talking about a vast and spacious country like Egypt. And our cities are actually scattered through the Nile, I know, but however, you do have a lot of rural cities, and you have a lot of border cities as well. Having said that, the most important plan to reach the rural areas to depend on having small satellite health units. Hence, if you look at the health map of the service provided in Egypt, you will find there is no place in the map you don't find a small health unit. This small health unit, which acts like the primary care, the most important objective of it is to have a differential diagnosis and provide the necessary services. So if you go to Wahed, for example, you will find a primary care. If you go to the border between Egypt and Libya, Sudan, even in the other side towards Gaza as well, you will find there is always a primary care health unit. Then you need to have a good referral system to the tertiary services. So, for example, a cancer patient who actually needs dialysis, sometimes you do a remote and satellite caravans, which is actually rotating in caravan cars to provide the service, or sometimes you're not going to be able to do it, so you ease the referral system towards the main cities. However, the most significant objective and the most significant action taken a couple of years ago is to have the Zoom meetings and the virtual calls between the primary care and the tertiary. So previously, the patient, for example, living in Wahed who would like a consultation from a gastroenterologist, he will commute from Wahed to the nearest big city. Currently, they can just run a Zoom call with a consultant. He will be accompanied with the general practitioner at the health unit, and he can also do all the diagnostic tests. You can do and read all the reports virtually. So having the virtual satellite tertiary Zooms and virtual calls inside the primary care, it was a leap in actually decreasing the commute time of the citizens, in advancing and having less time for diagnosis and initiating treatment. And I believe this is one of the most important presidential initiatives launched to ease for the citizens the time and the tedious journey to reach the tertiary care.
Great. Also, Dr. Islam, we have witnessed also national campaigns aiming at preventing the disease. As the saying say, prevention is better than cure, and early diagnosis is better also than treatment. We have witnessed national campaigns aiming at fighting diseases like obesity and hepatitis C, and also for the early detection of breast tumors for ladies. I would like also, Doctor, to know more from you about the significance of such initiatives in preventing the diseases or taking care of the symptoms before they occur.
Perfect. So if we are talking about prevention, and you mentioned a very important quote, prevention is better than cure. Yes. And every dollar you are spending on preventive care, you are actually saving $4 from curative care.
Yes.
So we need to invest more in preventive measures. And the presidential initiatives for health, it's actually one or two things. It's either primary prevention, which is preventing the disease from happening, like you mentioned, obesity, for example.
Yes.
And we do have obesity. We do have as well the stunting. Stunting is a short stature for school children. We do have the consultation for mothers for breastfeeding and healthy diet, the nutrition for the pregnant women. All of these are actually primary prevention. We are trying to decrease the incidence of the disease, preventing the disease from happening.
Yes.
Secondly, is, as you mentioned as well, is the early detection. We would like to detect the diseases early, which is like the breast cancer early detection campaign, Women Health.
Yes.
It's like hepatitis C. It's like the rest of the 5 cancers, like the colon, like the liver cancer, and like the lung cancer as well. It's as well as the psychological health.
Yes.
So there are actually between the primary prevention and the secondary prevention, which is early detection.
Yes, Dr. Islam Anan, Lecturer of Health Policy, Faculty of Pharmacy, Ain Shams University. I would like to thank you so much for joining us on Windows on Nile TV International. Thank you so much, Dr. Islam. And dear viewers, thank you so much. Dear viewers, short break, and we will be back, so stay tuned.